Good morning, everybody. Is everyone like totally overstuffed with leftovers? Because I swear if I eat more mashed potatoes, I'm going to explode. So, just trying to eat everything out of the fridge before everything goes bad, and I'm just like shoveling all this heavy food in my mouth, so I feel like I want to practice now. Okay, so a couple of things coming up. We updated the Christmas and New Year schedule up on the chalkboard, so if you ever forget or you're wondering what it is, that's what's going on. So December 24th, which is Christmas Eve, it's just the 9:15 a.m. class, and then Christmas, we're closed. And then for New Year's, December 31st is New Year's Eve, and the 9:15 is the only class we have. And then we're having another detox class on New Year's Day, which we do every year, and Kelly is teaching it this time, so I'm super excited to be able to take the detox class. So if you have any questions about our schedule or about gift cards for Christmas or anything like that, let me know after class and we can talk about it. Other than that, let's get started in child's pose. Feet together at the back of your mat, knees nice and wide. And then speaking of Christmas and gift giving and all of that good stuff, 40 Days to a Personal Revolution is coming up in January, and that makes for an awesome Christmas gift. It's only $99 for the entire program, and the meetings start on January 8th, so something to think about if you want to bring somebody with you. So press your fingertips down into the mat, let your hips get super heavy, let them sink down to the floor. And take a few moments to settle down into the earth, to let your heart sink down into the ground. Start to create a loud, purposeful breath. Long inhales through your nose, and to start, your exhales through your mouth. Nice loud breath that everybody else in the room can hear, that I can hear, so we can start to create a pulse to your practice. A rhythm that everybody can follow and sync up with. And start to breathe in and out through your nose so the exhales sound like you're fogging up a mirror. So they can be super loud. And the more you breathe and focus on your breath, the more you can clear some space. So no matter what's going on in your head or what's going on in your body today, you've got your breath to fall back on over and over again. And press your fingertips into the head of the mat and take downward facing dog. Lift your hips up and back. And move yourself around a little bit. You can pedal out your feet, bend one knee or the other. I like to shake my head out, yes and no, so you can figure out where your body is in space today. And settle into stillness and bend both knees, hover them just above your mat, like an inch above your mat. Tip your tailbone up and straighten out your legs. Yeah, bend both knees, hover just above your mat. Tip your tailbone back and straighten your legs. One more time, bend both knees, hover. Tip your tailbone way up and back, and then straighten your legs. Separate your feet about mat width distance apart. Come up onto your tippy toes and then take your heels to the right. So your feet are in line, one in front of the other. Get a nice side body stretch, open everything up. If you want a little bit extra stretch, temple your left fingertips. So you're just up on your fingertips on your left hand to get that line even longer. And switch sides, take your knees over to the left. And if you want, you can temple your right fingertips and create a long line from your fingertips all the way to your hip. Come back to center. Sink your heels down and step forward, feet to hands. Halfway lift, lengthen out your spine, softness in your knees, and pause here in your halfway lifts. Low belly way in and up, and hands touching something so they can touch your thighs or your knees or your calves, you choose. Then squeeze your shoulder blades together on your back. Shoulder blades together, low belly way in and up. Take one more breath and stretch out your spine, then hang in ragdoll. So keep the softness in your knees, and you can make a box with your arms and grab hand to elbow if you want, or sway from side to side. Keep the bend in your knees so you can coax your tailbone up to the ceiling and let your hamstrings get long. And bring more awareness to your breath so it gets louder. It's still pretty quiet in here. Release your hands down and rise all the way up to standing. Your head's the last thing to come up. Reach through your fingertips. Bring your thumbs to your heart. Set an intention for your practice. Choose anything you want. Just one word that you can come back to again and again in each and every pose. We'll send out all those intentions with 3 ohms. Take a deep breath in. Inhale, reach up, lift your chest way up. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, lengthen your spine, soft knees. Plant your palms and step back to a high plank. Hold the high plank. Create a lot of breath in your high plank. So stack your heels right over the balls of your feet, one right on top of the other, then press your thumbs way down into the ground. So your butt's not in the air and your stomach's not hanging towards the ground, it's just one long line. Take a breath in here. Reach the crown of your head forward. Lower all the way to the ground. Elbows hug your ribs. Cobra or upward facing dog. Lift your chest. Downward facing dog. Press your hips back. Take a breath in together. And the breath out together. Toes into the floor. Nestle them down. Breathe in. Breathe out. Take one more. Fill yourself up. Empty all the way out. Step forward, feet to hands. Halfway lift, lengthen your spine. Fold down. Rise up to standing. Press into your feet, rise up, reach up. Forward fold. Halfway lift, lengthen out, shoulder blades together. High to low plank, step back. So elbow height or all the way to the floor. Upward facing dog, open your chest. Downward facing dog, lift your hips. Breathe in together. Breathe out. Yeah, make it loud and purposeful. Breathe in. Breathe out. Sink your heels down towards the floor. Take one more breath in and one more breath out. Step to the head of your mat. Halfway lifts. Fold down. Rise up to standing. Long inhale all the way up to your fingertips. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Stretch out long. High to low. Step back. Squeeze your elbows in by your ribs. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breathe in together. Breathe out. Soften your knees. Big breath in. Breathe out. Send your tailbone even further back. Take one more breath in. One more breath out. Step or jump to the head of your mat. Halfway lifts. Fold down. Rise to standing. One more sunny. Reach up. Lift up. Forward fold. Halfway lift, breathe in. Chaturanga, low push-up when you breathe out. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Long inhale, fill your lungs. Empty them out. Big breath in. Big breath out. Clear some space in your body. One more breath in. Empty all the way out. Step or jump. Halfway lifts. Fold down. Chair pose, sit back and pause. Keep your breath flowing. It's really strong right now. Keep the breath going. Sit really low in your hips, like you're just about to sit in a chair and someone pulls it out from behind you, which is really rude, but that's why you do chair pose, just in case that happens. Lift your toes off the mat. Take one more breath in. Lift your chest. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Lengthen out. High to low. Step or jump back. Upward facing dog. Press the ground away. Downward facing dog. Step your right foot through warrior one. Rise up. Lunge deep. High to low plank. Use your breath. Stay with it. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Step your left foot through. Land on empty, then rise up on your inhale. Reach. Chaturanga, hands to the mat. Smooth, fluid movements. Up dog, breathe in. Down dog, breathe out. Full breath in. Exhale it out. Sink your heart to the floor. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more in. Empty out. Jump, feet to hands. Halfway lifts. Fold down. Chair pose for one breath this time. Reach up. Forward fold. Halfway lifts. Chaturanga. Flat palms on the earth. Press your thumbs into the floor. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right foot warrior one. Step. Huge inhale. Press into your feet. Chaturanga. Inhale up. Exhale down. Left foot step through. Keep using your breath. Rise up on your inhale. Reach. Empty on your exhale. Chaturanga. Upward facing. Downward facing. Breathe in together. Breathe out. Make it loud. Breathe in. Breathe out. There it is. One more in. Let out a sigh. Step or jump. Feet to hands. Halfway lifts. Bow down. Chair pose. Stick your tailbone way out. Fold. Halfway. Long spine. Chaturanga. Elbows in, ribs in. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right foot steps. Warrior one. Rise. Reach. Scoop your heart up. Chaturanga, hands to the floor. Inhale up, wide open chest. Exhale down. Opposite foot step through, sink your big toe into the ground and lift. High to low. Upward facing. Downward facing. Breath in, out through your mouth. Yeah, breathe in. Breathe out. One more, fill yourself up. Make it a loud sigh. Step or jump, feet to hands. That was close, we'll get louder. Halfway lifts, fold down. Chair pose, Utkatasana, reach through your fingertips, fold. Halfway lifts, Chaturanga. Upward facing dog, pull your navel in. Downward facing dog. Right foot warrior one, step on empty, rise on your inhale, breathe in. Chaturanga, breathe out. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Step your left foot through, warrior one. Sink all 10 toes into the ground. Chaturanga. Up dog, shoulder blades on your back. Downward facing dog. Breathe in together. Sigh it out. All right, breathe in. Loud sigh, let something go. There it is, one more in. Send your right leg up to the sky. Keep breathing, then dial your pinky toe down towards the floor. So closed hip to start, both hips face the floor. Lots of breath. Lots of breath. Flex your foot like you're gonna leave a footprint on the back of the room. Now bring your heel towards your butt and open your hip. Open it up to the yellow wall. Stack your hips one on top of the other, then come onto the ball of your left foot so your knee gets even higher. Lift it up an inch higher. Yeah, now flip your dog. Flip all the way over, visit your neighbor's mat, perhaps, and reach through your fingertips. 2 flat feet on the earth. Point your feet to the back of the room and press your big toes into the ground. Now reach like your fingertips are gonna walk down the bricks and down towards the floor. Just a tiny bit more space. Beautiful. Flip back over, right side plank. Right wrist under your right shoulder, open to the purple wall. So you've got options here in your side plank. You can drop your bottom knee, lift your top leg. So choose something that you can keep your breath flowing through. If you take your body into a space where you can't keep that breath going, then it becomes really hard. So stay in a space where you can do some work and keep your breath. Stretch your fingertips out of your palms. Yes. Take one more inhale, reach up to the ceiling. High to low plank, hands to the floor. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Send your left leg up to the sky. Start with a closed hip. Start with 5 toes that face the floor and flex your foot. Yeah. Keep your foot active, heel towards your butt, now peel it open. So your hips stack one on top of the other. Come onto the ball of your right foot and lift your knee a little bit higher. Yeah, add more breath. Just notice that you lose it and then come back. Flip your dog. Take it over, 2 flat feet on the earth, reach your fingertips down the front wall. So the more you reach with your fingertips, the more you press into your big toes, connect them into the earth. Take up a ton of space with your chest, so there's tons of room for your breath. Then flip back over, left side plank, face the yellow wall. So you start with creating a container. Squeeze your inner thighs together, squeeze your low belly way in and up, like your navel into the front side of your spine, and then take the variation that you want to take. So you build the structure in the container first, the integrity of the container, and then you take the variation of the pose. Keep your feet flexed no matter what option you choose. One more big breath. Reach through your fingertips, high to low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breathe in together. Stick out your tongue, breathe out. Yeah, lion's breath. Breathe in. One more. Fill yourself up. Step or jump, feet to hands. Halfway lifts. Fold down. Chair pose for a single breath. Sit way deep in your hips. Forward fold. Halfway lift, long spine. Chaturanga, all 10 fingertips on the mat. Press down. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Send your right leg up and back, straight behind you. Toes face the floor. Is your breath still here? Inhale and lengthen. Really press through your heel. Exhale, knee to nose. Squeeze it in and around like a Halloween cat. Press your foot back. Inhale. Knee to nose. Exhale. Round. Stack your shoulders over your wrists. One more time. Press your foot back. Inhale. Knee to nose on your exhale. Round, round, round. And place your foot between your hands. Crescent lunge. So on the ball of your back foot. Ball of your back foot. Hands up in the air. So let's work on getting square hips here. So bend your back knee a little bit or a lot, and then use that bend, that extra space, to square your left hip to the front of the room. So both hips face forward, and then pull your navel into the front side of your spine so your tailbone can drop down. Give yourself the space somewhere in your body so you can get space somewhere else, like in your hips. Now straighten out your leg as best you can and keep your hips square to the front of the room. Lunge a tiny bit deeper, knee over your ankle. Ooh, that was a lot deeper. Awesome. Keep breathing. You're always in a space where you can keep a long, easy breath. So you don't take yourself into overwhelm, you're just doing some work. Reach a little higher with your fingertips. Yeah, now bring hands to heart center and twist to the right. So left elbow outside your right knee. So nothing changes in your legs or your hips. They're still super active. Then open your arms. Spread them apart. You have the option to have your left hand on the outside of your knee or your fingertips templed on the inside of your front ankle, whichever allows more space for your twist. Keep breathing. Front big toe in the ground. Press it way down into your mat. You've got a couple more breaths here. Send your left hamstring way up to the sky, like there's a palm on the back of your leg and you want to resist it. Then come back up to crescent lunge on your inhale, hands up to the ceiling. Warrior 2, face the purple wall. Take up a lot of space in your warrior 2 right off the bat. So even if you don't think you have long legs, take up a lot of space. Reach through your fingertips like you're going to touch the windows in the back wall at the same time. And add more breath. Low belly in and up so you can drop your tailbone. Then flip your front palm, reach forward, reverse the warrior. Keep your legs powerful. Squeeze your inner thighs together like they're a pair of scissors. Lunge an inch deeper here. And suck your front thigh bone back into the socket like it's going to pull into your hip. Come back to warrior 2 arms. Stay in your lunge. Extended side angle. Bring your elbow to your thigh or fingertips to a block on the ground. Top arm straight up to the sky to start. Reaches straight up. So imagine that your shoulder blade with every breath is just sliding down towards your spine, like your shoulder blade wants to kiss your spine. Then bring breath into it. Can you rotate your heart up to the sky a little bit more? And take a half bind, top arm around your back. Pause there, peel your chest open, top shoulder blade down your back. And if you've got the space for it, the full bind, your bottom arm underneath your thigh to meet your fingertips. But if that full bind means that your heart's now facing the floor, go for the half bind and go for space instead. Just do some work, go for space instead. Keep scooping your right hip towards the purple wall. Take one more breath, look up at the ceiling, hands to the floor, chaturanga. Happy Sunday, hips. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. It's good for you. Breathe in together. Breathe out. Big breath in. Big breath out. One more. Fill yourself up. Empty through your mouth. Send your left leg up to the sky. Long straight leg. Keep the breath going. So if you keep your breath going and then help your neighbor, they can help support you when you need a little extra breath later in the practice too. Pinky toe down towards the floor so your inner thighs are active. Breathe in together, lengthen. Knee to nose on your exhale, round. Press your foot back, inhale. Knee to nose on your exhale, hug it in. Press back one more time. Long breath in, knee to nose. Squeeze all the air out, crescent lunge. So the whole ball of your back foot is connected to the ground. Your pinky toe as much as your big toe, and then bend your back knee enough that you've got some wiggle room to square your hips to the front of the room. You've got some space to pull your low belly in so your low back has a lot of room. Now straighten your leg as best you can without losing your square hips, and lift your heart way up. Go up and back this time. Lift your heart way up and back, like your shoulder blades are going to scoop your heart up to the ceiling. Powerful feet, powerful breath. Stay connected to the ground and then make more space. Now hands to heart center, twist to the left. Right elbow outside your left knee, and you can stick with palm to palm or open your arms. So if your arms are apart, reach your hands as far apart as they can go. If your palms are together, press them so much that your elbows get further apart. Lots of action. Keep breathing. Pick up your low belly, bring it off your thigh and into the twist with you. Yes. Right below your navel, in and up. Front big toe into the ground, come back up to crescent lunge on an inhale, reach high. Warrior two, face the yellow wall. So odds are your knee can't go perfectly straight right over your middle toes, so wherever your knee is pointing, turn your foot just slightly off center so that it follows your knee and sink a little bit deeper into your lunge. So it's going to be a slightly different space for everybody. And lunge down deep. Pick up your low belly. Drop your tailbone. Good breath. Make it a little bit louder. Yeah, just settle in. So it's not so much effort and forcing, there's work and ease at the same time. Flip your front palm, reach forward, reverse. Work and ease at the same time. Stay deep in your lunge and imagine that your left thigh bone is pulling back into the socket. You press your left heel into the ground and your left thigh bone pulls way back and in to where it belongs. Come back to warrior two, arms. Juicy, juicy legs, extended side angle. Elbow or fingertips, you choose the variation. Top hand straight up to the sky. Reach your fingertips away and slide your top shoulder down in towards your back. Add more breath. Connect the outer edge of your right foot way down into the floor like it's going to cut through your mat and into the ground. And take a half bind, top arm around your back, around the outside of your hip, and then twist your heart open to the ceiling. If the full bind is there for you, go for it. Peel your chest wide open. Keep breathing. Back foot on the floor as much as your front foot, so both legs are doing work for you. One more inhale. Look up. Chaturanga, hands to the floor. At least your hips are even now, right? Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Know that you can always drop your knees or take a child's pose for a few breaths if you need it. Breathe in together. Breathe out together. Big breath in. Sigh it out. Let something drop. Good. One more in. One more out. Step or jump, feet to hands. Halfway lift, fold down. Chair pose, sit back and reach. Down, down, down in chair, and then fire up your breath, because it got quiet again. So make chair pose a pose that you're excited to be in, even if it's not your most favorite pose in the world, that's okay. Hands to heart center, twist to the right. Because if you go into every pose just waiting for it to be over, it's so much longer and heavier that way. Open your arms, spread them apart, and sit low enough that your hips are lower than your heart, and you can get your whole spine into the twist with you. Keep breathing. Lots of breath. Drop your top shoulder down your back towards your spine so your heart can open up more. Look up at the ceiling. One more breath. Reach, reach, reach. Forward fold. Shake it out. Separate your feet hip-width distance and take your first 2 fingers around your big toes. So bend your knees a lot to make that happen. Bend your knees, first 2 fingers around your big toes. Now draw your heart to your shins as best you can. Let your head hang. Heavy head, long neck. Shake out your head, yes and no. Then come back to your breath. Now's a good time to restart it. Release your hands, go for crow pose. If you're practicing on jumping back from crow, keep your crow at the head of your mat so you've got some landing space. Those of you who are still working on crow, spread your fingers out super wide on your mat. Bend your knees and your elbows and bring your knees really close into your armpits, like as close as you can get it so you're in like a tiny little ball. And draw your feet up towards your butt. This is one of those poses that's very easy to overthink. So instead of overthinking it, just go. And if you fall, it's no big deal because you're just like 6 inches off the ground. Keep breathing. Activate your toes. Spread them apart. Yeah. Now step or jump back. Chaturanga. Awesome. Upward facing dog. Open your chest. Downward facing dog. Lift your hips. Breathe in together. Breathe out together. Big breath in. Let it out. One more, fill up. Empty all the way out. Step or jump to the head of your mat. Halfway lifts. Bow down. Chair pose, sit back and reach. Down, down, down in chair. So you're gonna make your pose one of those things that you endure and you're waiting for it to be over, or is it something that you can enjoy and just go along for the ride? Hands to heart center and twist left. Lots of breath. Open your arms. You've got the option to keep your bottom arm on the outside of your knee or in between your knees if that feels more stable. It makes more space for me so I can wring it out, so it's something to try. Now tip your tailbone to the back edge of your mat. Yeah, right there, Claire. Lots of breath. Twist so much that you can look up at the rafters. One more breath. Forward fold. Separate your feet hip width again and step on your palms for gorilla. So bend your knees enough to lay your stomach on your thighs. And then palms all the way underneath your feet so your toes touch your wrists. So you can rock back and forth on your hands and give them a massage or press your toes into your wrist crease. Let your head be super heavy. Let it hang off your neck. Lots more breath. Softness in your knees so you can tip your tailbone up. And like you've always done it, no problem, crow pose. Just go right into it. When you let your mind get involved and tell you how you can't do it or how it doesn't look or feel quite right, it stops your body from doing what it wants to do. So just let it do crow pose. Let it happen. No overthinking, the pose just happens. Pull your low belly way in and up. Way in and up. Puff up your shoulders toward the ceiling. Beautiful. Step or jump back, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Let's do another lion's breath and let out some heat. Breathe in together. Stick out your tongue, breathe out. Good, breathe in. One more, fill up. Step or jump, feet to hands. Halfway lifts. Fold down. Bend your knees a lot. Keep them bent and rise all the way up to standing. Bent knees all the way up to standing. Reach through your fingertips. Take eagle pose on the right. Right arm under, right leg over. As you're clearing out all this space, you twist and wring out and lunge and warm up, and everything's ready now, so you're in eagle pose. And now you can bring your whole body back to center. So if your mind left the space, bring it back. Bring it back into your body, into what's going on right now. And know that if you've got tight shoulders and you can't quite wrap your forearms, put opposite palm to opposite shoulder. It's the same thing, just more space for you to breathe. Sit a little lower in your hips. Keep your eyes on your focal point and take airplane. Send your right leg behind you and reach your arms back. Add more breath. Work on fine-tuning your pose. Can you turn the outer edge of your right hip towards the floor? Nice, Bridget, just like that. Can you flex your foot a little more and straighten out your leg behind you? Hands to heart center. Pick up your low belly. Half moon. Open up to the yellow wall. So left hand down to a floor, to the block, to a water bottle if you don't have a block. Open up. Flex your lifted foot a lot and use that flexed foot to lift your leg higher. Yeah, keep breathing. Pull your low belly in and up so much that you almost don't need to have your hand on the ground. You almost don't need to. It's super light. Take one more breath and reach through your top fingertips, then forward fold. Shake it out. Rock your hips out, move your legs around if you need it. Rise up to standing, bend your knees and rise up. So use your feet to reach up. Left side eagle, left arm under, left leg over. Start breathing again, make your pose light. Just notice again and again, oh, I stopped breathing, that's okay, come back. Then you stop breathing again and come back. Really tall in your spine, shoulder blades right on top of your hips. Airplane, send your left leg back. Reach your arms to the person behind you. Get really long, an upward facing dog in your chest. A light open heart. So if you were to fly forward, your heart would touch the windows first, even before your face. There's so much reach. Now hands to heart center. Half moon, open up to the purple wall. Right hand down, left hand up. Wide open. Yeah, hand to your block. Good, flex your lifted foot a lot. Yes, there you go. Use your top fingertips to lighten your load. So it's like your top fingertips reach up to the sky and make you even lighter. Beautiful. Press into your standing foot a lot, your big toe into the ground. Take one more breath. Open up, get really wide. Forward fold, shake it out. Rise up to standing. Reach through your fingertips. Right side eagle, second set. Right arm under, right leg over. So you know where to go. So if your mind's pulling you somewhere else, be here in your body. Let your mind do what it wants to do and you stay here. You get to take a break from all that and be in what's going on moment to moment. Definitely add more breath. If the pose feels heavy and like you're trying really, really hard, the breath is probably missing. Keep your eyes on your focal point. Left hand to left hip, right hand to your right raised knee. Stand up tall. Pause here and pull your right thigh bone back into your hip socket so both of your hips face the front of the room equally. Instead of your right knee pulling your right hip forward, pull it back. Now open your knee to the right and reach to the left. Breath is still here. Flex your lifted foot. Yeah. Can you hug your shoulder blades together on your back so your chest is wide? Come back to center, left hand on your right knee. Reach your right arm behind you, dancing Shiva. Hips are square to the front of the room. All the twist happens in your torso. Pick up your low belly, bring it into the twist. And come back to center, place your foot down. Hands up to the sky. Left side eagle, left arm under, left leg over. So you get into a space where you're like, okay, I came out of the gate really good, I feel fine, and then you get sweaty and get a little bit tired and you're like, I don't want to go 100% now. Go 100%. Go 100% in every single pose, because that's when shift happens, when you come up against your edge and you don't want to do it anymore and you kind of want to take a water bottle, I need to go to the bathroom break. That's when the shift happens. Right hand, right hip, left hand on your left raised knee. Stand tall. The pose starts to happen when you want to come out of it. The shift starts to happen when you're up against your edge and you don't want to do it anymore. Open to the left and reach to the right. Lots of breath. Activate your lifted foot so your toes are even part of the pose. Yeah. Back to center. Right hand on your left knee, send your left arm back, dancing Shiva. Shoulder blades together on your back, wide collarbones. Come back to center. Place your foot down. Standing bow on the right side. Right hand on the inside of your right ankle. We'll get to dancer's pose, so don't worry about it. Standing bow, left hand up to the sky. So pause for a moment so you can square your hips and squeeze your inner thighs together. And then tip forward. So the two pieces you're working on in your standing bow are pulling the outside of your hip towards the floor. Round down to the floor and send your knee straight to the back of the room. Square hips and a knee that goes straight to the back of the room. So that might mean that your leg doesn't go as high, and that's fine. You're working on the integrity of the pose right now. Outer edge of your hip down, knee straight to the back of the room. Take one more breath. Release. Left side. Flow with it now. Take all the extra stuff out of the in-between poses. Just go pose by pose. Outer edge of your left hip down, knee straight to the back of the room. Beautiful. Pull your navel in, hug it in and make space for your low back. 2 more breaths here, make them loud. Stretch out your sideways long, yes. And go to the right side, second set. So if you've got a strap or want to borrow one for dancer's pose, there's a full basket of straps. If you want to stick with your standing bow, stick with standing bow. If you're hanging out in between because you're trying to take a break, we'll get to the break part, so just pick a pose. The break will come, just go. That extra stuff that happens in between is your mind trying to take you out of your body, so stay here. Flex your foot up to the sky. 1 more breath. Release. Left side. You can choose to slow your heart rate down. You can choose to slow your breath down. Long, conscious breath. Slow, steady heartbeat. Soften your standing knee and press your big toe into the ground. Yes. Listen to your neighbor's breath. Sync up with them. It becomes lighter when you work together. You've got 1 more breath. Release. Stand with your feet hip-width distance at the head of your mat and pause for a moment. Eyes open, glued to one spot. Let everything slow back down. Let everything sink down into your feet and connect you to your mat. Now take right side tree pose, right foot above or below your left knee. Anywhere but on your knee joint's a good place for your foot. Hands start at your heart. So on your inner thigh, your inner calf, or even down like a kickstand works too. Hands start at your heart. Now interlace your fingers. Press your palms toward the windows and up to the sky. And if your shoulders are way up in your ears, bend your elbows a little bit and drop your shoulders down. Lots of breath. Tree pose is that neutralizing pose at the end of all the balance. You can collect everything and bring it back into center. It's your opportunity to land back in your body if your mind took you somewhere else. You get that opportunity again and again and again. Switch sides. Left side tree. Foot on your inner thigh, your inner calf or down like a kickstand, then hands start at heart center. Pick one spot to focus on. Then you choose the hand variation. You can interlace your fingers again or choose something different. You can make something up if you want. Lots of breath. So you're breathing loud enough so you can hear yourself, and you're breathing loud enough so the person next to you can hear you. And everyone can sync up, and the pose becomes effortless because you're all working together and supporting each other. Right big toe in the mat, press it down. Take one more breath, lift tall, release. Big toes touch, space between your heels. Inhale, reach your hands way up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, long spine, soft knees. Chaturanga, step or jump back. Upward facing dog, wide open chest. Downward facing dog, press back. Breathe in together. Breathe out together. Good, breathe in. You can sigh if you want to, let it out. Take one more breath in. Send all your weight back on your exhale, then step your right foot through for warrior one. Rise up. So now's the time. You do all this hard work and you land in your body. Your muscles are ready, your joint is ready, and all your other joints, not just the one that I just said, lunge down deep. Just one joint is ready. No, all of them are ready. On the outer edge of your left foot, press down. Down into the floor. Now lunge a little bit deeper. And then play around with the push and pull in your back leg. So the outer edge of your foot presses down and the outer edge of your left hip pulls forward. The hip pulls forward, the foot presses back. Lift your heart up and back. Legs in the ground, heart way up and back. Use your shoulder blades, scoop it up and back. Warrior two, face the purple wall. Take a chance in your lunge. So a little bit more space than you think you can handle. Like a space that you think I might not be able to sustain that, and then land. Land in your feet and land in your toes and reach through your fingertips a lot. Wake them up. Wake them up. Send energy out through your fingertips. Yes, like that. Flip your front palm, reach forward, reverse the warrior. Stay in your legs. If you're in a space where your muscles are starting to shake, awesome. You're building new muscle. You're waking things up. Reach up and back and straighten your front leg. Make a ton of space in your right side. Take triangle. Reach to the windows. Bring your hand down to the block on the outside of your shin or the floor. And left hand up to the sky. Add a lot more breath in. Lots more breath. You're in new space now. So yes, there's tons of space in triangle, but there's also tons of grounding, tons of stabilization in your legs, in your feet. Press your front heel down so much that you could lift your front toes off the mat. Just lift your front toes and then place them down. Yeah, so all the weight is in your heel. Now use your top hand to pull you all the way up to standing. All the way up. Hands on your hips, turn your toes to the purple wall. Pick up the pit of your low belly. You can even use your hands on your hips to tip your tailbone down and then hinge at your hips. So the hinge is not at your low back, it's right at your hip joint all the way down. Bring your hands down to the mat, tailbone up to the sky. Now a few of you can get a little bit of a wider stance, like your feet wider apart. Take up a ton of space. Bend your left knee and sink into your left hip. Right leg is straight. And turn your right toes to face the ceiling. Left knee is bent, right toes up to the ceiling. Yeah, you can lean on your hands. Nice. Tailbone down to the ground. Make it heavy. Switch sides. Over to the right. Bent knee. Turn your left toes to face up towards the ceiling. So if your toes were hands on a clock, your foot would be at 12 o'clock right now, straight up. Switch to the other side. So go back and forth at your pace now. And your goal is to keep your hips as low to the ground as possible. Switch sides. Move with your breath. So inhale as you come into center, and then exhale as you land on one side or the other. And if you want an added challenge, you can take your hands off the ground and hold them at heart center. So it's just your hips doing the work. Yeah, lots of different hip action going on. So whether you're super flexible or super not flexible, everybody's making space. Toes up to the ceiling when you land on one side or the other. Nice. Keep breathing. Go one more time on each side, and then we'll all meet up in center. Juicy, juicy hips. Back and center. Hands on your hips and center. Come to a long, flat back. Just pause with a long, flat back and pull your low belly way in. Now rise all the way up to standing. Use your low belly to lift you up, and turn both feet to face the front of the room. Separate your feet so they're on train tracks instead of one right in front of the other, and use your hands to square your hips to the front of the room. Now hinge down. Bring your heart to your shin. If you've got tight hamstrings like I do, bend your front knee a little bit. Release some of the tension. So create space somewhere in your body so the tight space has more room. Pull your right hip way back. Keep working it to the back of the room. Keep working your right thigh bone back into the socket. If your toes are clinging to the ground, relax them. Use your feet and let your toes be at ease. Put your hands on a block, Joe. That'll help. Yeah, there you go. Take one more breath in and lengthen. Bow your head down on your exhale. Then plant your palms and step back. Downward facing dog. Take a long breath in through your nose. Sigh it out. Let it go. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more. Fill yourself up. Empty all the way out. Left side warrior one. Step and rise up. Work on the fine-tuning. Arms up in the air. Fine-tuning the little minute parts of the pose. Outer edge of your right foot down this time, and pull your right hip forward. So there's a push and a pull action happening at the same time. Create a balance between the two. Square your hip a little more, and then press your foot down more, and find the right spot right in between the two. Pick up your low belly and lift your heart up and back. Your shoulder blades, scoop your chest way up and back. Warrior two, open up. Stay down deep in your lunge. Lots of space on your mat, in a space that you won't be able to hold for more than a few breaths, so your legs start to wake up to the possibility of something new. Now pull in your low belly and drop your tailbone. Relax your butt cheek. Yeah. Flip your front palm, reach forward, reverse. Way up and back, tailbone down to the ground. A lot of you have your arm behind your back. Use it to tip your tailbone down if you're sticking your butt out to your neighbor. Straighten your front leg, get really long. Triangle. Hand to your block or to the floor, right hand up to the sky. So it's all long lines in your triangle. Long legs, long arms, a very long side waist. So the tricky part that's normally not long is your left side waist here. So get it as long as possible. It helps to come on a higher setting on your block to create more space for that too. Add the breath in. Relax your left butt cheek. Use your top hand to pull you all the way up to standing, and turn your toes to face the yellow wall. Interlace your fingers at your low back, or put your hands on a strap or a towel if you've got tight shoulders at your low back. So if you have the strap or towel, you want it to be your hands close enough together so that your hands can't completely spill overhead, but they get close. Hinge down. Softness in your knees. Soft knees. Let your hands spill overhead as much as they can. And a few of you have your toes pointing out a little bit. Make sure they're pointing straight to the yellow wall or slightly pigeon-toed. Just make an adjustment. Yeah. Bring your breath into it. So worry less about your shoulders. They'll soften on their own. More about soft knees and tailbone up towards the sky. There it is. Release your hands to the ground. Then bring your hands to your hips and pause at a halfway lift. Pause. Really zip up your low belly. Pull it into the front side of your spine and use that strength to rise all the way to standing. Nice. Turn both feet to face the front of the room. Wide stance, then steer your hips straight forward. Hinge down. Your spine is nice and long now, so use all of the length. Reach the crown of your head forward or towards the ground, depending on which way it's pointing, and your tailbone straight back. And then with every breath, you square your hips. Work the left hip back just a little bit more. Fine-tune your pose. Beth, lift up from right here. Up, 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 up. Yes, right there. Which one of your feet is doing way too much work? Can you bring more weight into your back foot? Can you bring more weight into the front foot? Nice step, pull it back just a little bit. Yeah. Take a long breath in, lengthen out your spine, and fold on your exhale. Knee to your shin, face to your shin, hands to your mat, and step back, downward facing dog. If you can bring your knee to your shin, then yeah. That's impressive. Someone's missing bones. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Good. Breathe in. Breathe out. Last one. Fill yourself up. Expand your chest. Empty all the way out. Come through to sit. Staff pose. Long, straight legs out in front. Tall spine. Yoga intermission, then flex your feet to the front of the room. Bring your inner thighs together a lot. So imagine that instead of the outside of your quads squeezing your legs together, you're using your inner thighs to pull your legs together. Reach your arms to the front of the room, and lower your back to the mat. Your inner thighs squeeze together, all the way down. Bridge pose. Bend your knees and plant your feet on the earth. So your feet are just close enough that you can graze your heels with your fingertips. Then press into your feet and lift up. Lift your hips, low back, up to your shoulders. You've got two options with your arms. You can take cactus arms, bent elbows with your hands on the ground, or interlace your fingers at your low back and tuck your shoulder heads underneath you. Now bring in a lot of breath. As you make your way into the back bends of your practice, give it a lot of gas with your breath. You've got all this space to work with now. Your body's ready for back bends. Help it out with more breath. Big toes on the ground. Relax your butt. Use your inner thighs pulling together instead of your butt. One more inhale. Release. Lower your hips down. Take your knees side to side. Second set of bridge pose. Go for it. Flat feet on the earth. Rise up. You choose your arm variation. Tuck your shoulder heads way underneath you. Like your feet and your shoulders are the legs on a table and they all want to press down equally. Now bring your right knee into your chest. Squeeze it in. Right foot up to the sky. Lift it way up. Press your left big toe down into the ground. Yes. One more inhale, lift, knee to nose, place your foot down, Left knee into your chest, foot up to the sky. So your foot's up in the air. What's going on in your right foot? Press your right big toe into the ground. Use your right inner thigh to lift your hips up even higher. Knee to nose. Place your foot down. Release. Knee side to side. All right, it's time for wheel. Reach your hands up to the sky. Flex your wrists and tuck your fingertips under your shoulders. So you can stick with bridge or take your wheel. Go. Go, yogis, go. You're ready. Plant your palms on the ground. Go up. Yeah, lots of grunts and groans. How about breath? Lots of breath. So bridge or wheel, you commit. Totally committed to contributing to the space. Let your head hang. Make it easy. Huge breath in. Tuck your chin and come down. Knee side to side. Second wheel. Go. Go up. Go, go. You work out the kinks. The more you take a pose again and again, the more space you make in your body, the more muscle memory you create. Flat feet on the earth and use your inner thighs. Wrap them in towards one another. Yeah, lots of space for your low back. In. Yes. One more breath. Tuck your chin, come down. Breathe in together. Breathe out together. Go into wheel. Don't let your mind get in the way and tell you, I'm tired, I'm done, I don't want to do anymore. Let your body show you that you're ready. You did all that stuff to get to this space, so you're ready. Here, grab onto my ankles. Grab onto my ankles, yeah. Now bring your elbows in close together. Press down into my ankles. Press into my ankles. Lift them, lift them, lift. Yeah. Press into my ankles more. Yes, beautiful. Tuck your chin, come down. Nice. Knees side to side. Go again, wheel pose. Yeah. Yeah. You want to get to that point where you're like, ugh, why is she still calling that pose? Go. Wheel or bridge, you're staying involved. You're choosing one, so if you want to pause and you take the bridge instead of the wheel, that's fine, but you're still part of the room. You're still part of what's going on right now. 2 more breaths, make them loud. The pose starts to happen when you want to come out. And tuck your chin, come down. Breathe in together. Breathe out together. One more wheel. This is the final one. Go, yogis, go. Bridge your wheel, go. This is your time. This is your time for your body to take your back bend. Wheel or bridge, feet connected to the ground. Reach your heart to the back of the room. Whether you're in bridge or wheel, reach your heart to the back of the room. You've got one more big breath. Fill up. Tuck your chin and come down. Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet together, knees open wide. So rest your hands wherever you want to rest them. Eyes stay open. Eyes stay glued to one spot, your focal point, your drishti, so you can stay in the room and in the experience of what just happened. Whether you absolutely loved it or absolutely hated it, you stay in the room. Now draw your knees back together and hug them into your chest. Rock around on your low back. And send your legs straight up in the air. Tuck your fingertips under your butt. Just support your low back. So fingertips under your butt, legs straight in the air. Flex your feet like you're holding a block on your feet and you don't want to drop it. Bring both legs to 30 degrees. 30 degrees. Pull your navel in, down towards the ground. Another 30 degrees. Press your big toes away. Curl your pinky toes toward your face. Now hover your feet just above the ground and press through your feet. Get really long. Legs back up in the air. Nice. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Relax the outside of your quads and squeeze your inner thighs together. 30 degrees. Press through your feet. Send energy out through your heels. Another 30. Press. One more time. Hover them above the ground. Press. Get your legs as long as you possibly can. Legs in the air. Reset if you need to. Flex your feet, bring your inner thighs together, long, long legs. One more time, 30 degrees. Breathing certainly helps. Another 30. Press, 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 press. Relax your face. Hover your feet just above the ground. Get as long as you can. Press and everything out through your feet. Legs in the air, knees into your chest. Give them a squeeze. Bicycles. Interlace your fingers behind your head. Bent knees, flexed feet. So your shins are parallel with the ground. Now go opposite elbow, opposite knee. Lift your shoulders off the ground. Opposite elbow to opposite knee. So you wring out your entire torso. You pick your own pace and go at a pace that you can keep your feet flexed so your feet are driving the motion like pistons to the front of the room instead of flopping on the end of your legs. Active feet and active toes. Beautiful. Navel in. Keep breathing. Go, go. Just stay committed. Doesn't matter how slow you're going, you're part of it. You're involved. You're making the twist happen. You're making something happen, something shift for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Relax your face. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees in. Ugh. A lot of squinchy faces. Rock back and forth on your spine 3 times. Sit up into boat pose. Just one boat. One solid boat pose. So your body just like a V. Really long in your spine. You can have your hands on the backs of your thighs if you want. Everyone flex your feet and lift your heart up like there's a string on your chest pulling you straight up to the ceiling. Now breathe. Straight up to the ceiling and you breathe. Inner thighs together. Squeeze them in. Reach your arms out to the sides like you're hugging a big tree, hard, wide open. Take one more inhale, rock back and forth on your spine, and make your way to downward facing dog. So use the momentum to jump back, to vinyasa your way there, however you want to get there. Land in your fingertips and your toes. Take a long inhale together. And a long exhale together. Send your tailbone back. Breath in. Breath out. One more in. Fill up. Empty all the way out. Send your right leg up to the sky. Right knee to right wrist for half pigeon. Right knee to right wrist. And before you make your way down to the ground, check in and make sure your thighs parallel with the edge of your mat. So instead of your knee sneaking out to the right, your knee is right in front of your hip joint. Then make your way to the ground. For those of you who are super bendy flexy and don't really feel a lot in a half pigeon, put a block underneath your hip and work on squaring your hips instead. So same thing, but you'll get a different sensation out of it. Melt to the floor. Give your head a place to rest, so on a block or on stacked fists. So it's one less thing to worry about and to hold up. Now you've got the opportunity to melt into the floor. So there's action happening, yes, but also ease. Action and ease working together. And when your mind pulls you out of the space, use your breath to bring you back. Downward facing dog, shake it out. Move your hip around any way you need to. And send your left leg up to the sky. Knee to left wrist. Pull it in, half pigeon. Just as much prep time on this side. Go for square hips. A lot of you can pull your right hip forward and suck your left thigh bone back into the hip. Every breath is an opportunity to melt further into the ground, to make even more space in your hip. Downward facing dog, shake it out. Take a long, slow breath in through your nose. Equally long breath out through your mouth. Long breath in, fill up all that space you just made. Empty out through your mouth. One more in, fill up. Exhale completely. Make your way to sit, staff pose. Sit really tall in your spine, and then use your hands to pull your sit bones behind you so you're sitting more on the tops of your hamstrings. And send your hands straight up to the sky. And fold over as much as you can and keep your long spine. So if your back starts to round, come back. You want a long, straight spine. And that may mean that you're just sitting upright. That's totally fine. Hinge as much as you can, like you're folding like a piece of paper and keeping your back straight. Use your breath. The more breath you use, the more space you make, and then maybe you can hinge just a little bit further, but you keep the long spine. Shoulder blades together on your back, wide collarbones. Okay, now round your spine, banana back. Fold over your legs. Even here, you can send your tailbone a little further behind you and make more space. Breathe into the back side of your body, like the back side of your ribs and in between each vertebrae. And slowly rise back up, sit up really tall. Reverse tabletop, plant your hands behind your hips, fingertips face forward. Lift your hips off the ground, point your toes to the mat. Toes down. So if this bothers your low back, bend your knees and put flat feet on the earth. And then it's up to you if you want to drop your head back or not. If that feels okay for your neck, do it. If not, keep your head facing forward. Keep lifting up through your hips. Lift up through your chest. One more breath. Release. Lower your hips down. Reach your arms to the front of the room. Lower your back to the mat. Send your legs into the air, Viparita Karani. You can put a block under your low back if you have one. If you plan on heading to shoulder stand, move to plow right now. Move to plow, legs overhead, and pause and plow for a few breaths. And those of you that are in plow headed to shoulder stand, flat palms on your low back, so sides of your pinky fingers come together, and then send your legs in the air. Send your breath all the way up to your feet so everything can drain out. Eyes focused on one spot. Stay upside down, let it all drain out. A little bit longer than you normally do. If shoulder stand starts to become too much because you're still upside down, you can go back to legs in the air, but still upside down. Shoulder stands move to plow. Long, straight legs. Send your tailbone up to the sky. And if that means that your feet don't touch the ground, that's totally fine. Long spine. In deaf man's pose, bend your knees and gently squeeze the sides of your head. And hands to the mat for breaks and slowly unravel. Bone by bone back to the mat. Hug your knees into your chest and rock around on your low back. And take happy baby. Send the soles of your feet up to the sky. And draw your knees down by the sides of your ribs. So if grabbing your feet is making your tailbone arch way up to the sky, place your flat palms on the backs of your thighs and pull your legs down that way so your whole back can touch the ground. Rock back and forth, love tap your neighbor. It's okay. And hang out in stillness. Same pose, just dead bug. Still. Bring your knees into your chest and drop them over to the right for supine twist. Scoot your bottom hip closer towards the purple wall. So your hips stack one on top of the other. And take your knees over to the left and look right. Scoot your bottom hip towards the yellow wall. Lots of breath into your side waist. Bring your knees back to center. Give them one final squeeze. Hug them into your chest. And let your legs go long on your mat. Savasana. So there's a cold stone by the upper corner of your mat. You can put it on your forehead between your eyebrows or on your chest right over your heart. Some people like to put it on their throat. It's up to you. And take a few moments to get all the last movements out of your body. Let your feet drop out to either side. Your palms face up to the sky, down by your hips so your shoulder blades can melt into your back. So you do all this hard work to get to this space where you can truly be still, truly be at ease, and let your entire body and all of your thoughts rest easy on your mat. Deepen your breath. And reach your hands high overhead and stretch out long from your fingertips to your toes. And sink into the floor. Plant your feet on the earth and rock onto your right side. And with your eyes still closed, press down and rise up. Take a comfortable seat. Inhale, reach your hands high overhead. Exhale, thumbs to your heart. We'll finish that class together with 3 final Oms. Take a deep breath in. Breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. The light within me honors and greatly respects the light within each one of you. Namaste. Thanks for coming, everybody. Have an awesome weekend. So, 40 days coming up in January. Gift cards are available. The schedule's up for the holidays. Lots of stuff going on. So if you have any questions about anything, let me know. And hopefully I will see you on a Wednesday at 7 a.m., which is the next class I teach. Have an awesome rest of your Sunday.